Hi.
Hi.
I'm Corey.
I'm Kylie, and we are
Lit Libations.
I forgot how to talk.
No, you didn't. We did great.
You did great. You covered for me.
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I'm fine. Okay.
What's up, everyone?
How are we? I'm super excited about today's episode.
Are you?
Yeah. One, because I'm motivated to do a super good job.
Okay, great. We're doing the Viscount Who Loved Me Part 2, finishing it up. This week we're drinking a bee's knees because like bees is a theme throughout the show. From what I read when I Googled Bridgerton drinks. And this is just gin, honey, and lemon, except we accidentally used vodka.
Yeah. And also we put tonic water in it.
And simple syrup.
Yeah.
So, do whatever you want.
And that's the theme of today. Just do what you feel is right in your heart.
Yeah, and maybe like use some honey.
Yeah. Or simple syrup. Or tonic water.
Or all three.
Or all three. It makes a really good drink if you use all three.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then you got like a half a lemon in there.
And then you just put a half a lemon wedge in there.
Yeah,
it's not even a wedge.
It's such a tiny little cup too.
It is. It overpowers the cup aesthetic.
The cup. That's hilarious. All right. So should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's do this shit.
Okay, so last week we left off. Kate had that panic attack during a thunderstorm, and Anthony had helped her in a way that he didn't even understand at the time. All right, chapter 13. Anthony had a hard time sleeping. He wakes up at noon and sees Kate in the garden out the window, and he's like, damn, I gotta go talk to that bitch. Kate is in the garden, happy to be alone, away from the rest of the party. She's thinking, shit, Anthony really is a good person. I can't object to him marrying Edwina. It just wouldn't make sense. I won't ruin her happiness in that way. And the only reason she secretly does want to object is because she wants him for herself. But like that would never happen. If she rejected him, he would just go marry someone else.
Yeah.
And not her. Never her.
No.
That's how she feels. Anthony sneaks up on her during her think sesh. And she's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like Anthony sought me out. Like he wants to talk to me.
Right.
I'm so excited. But then he just asks if she's okay after last night. And then she's like all dejected about that. And she's like, yeah, shit, he's just being polite. That's all. And then she's like, I'm fine. Thank you so much. They talk a little bit about her fears. And Kate says it's her job to be strong for her sister since she's the oldest. So they don't know, her family doesn't know the extent of her fears of electrical storms, which they always call it. I think that's so funny. And Anthony understands that for sure. But isn't it at this time, he's like, you should like open up to your family. I think they could help you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but how often do we as people give advice that we don't take ourselves?
All the time, right? 100%, right. I think.
It's literally 100% of the time.
Yeah, I never take my own advice. They're staring at each other and, quote, this is from Anthony. He's thinking to himself, for one split moment, he had the bizarre thought that she somehow knew everything about him, every last detail from the moment of his birth to his certainty of his own death. It seemed in that second, with her face tipped up toward his and her lips slightly parted, that she, more than anyone else, would ever walk this earth, truly knew him. That's a crazy thing to think, but it's also like, I don't know, it was very sweet.
It is sweet. It's what's crazy is how fast
how intense it is. I feel like it's just really intense.
Maybe it's because they can't they just don't have sex very fast. Like this kind of stuff. I guess I don't know how long it's been since they've met, but like it's had to have been a couple weeks at least, maybe a month. I feel like it's just like especially for the men, like these are the only women that can like or have to truly reject them of like the sexual nature that they like are so free to have outside of society women. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, like I actually get to, for the first time, I'm actually getting to know someone.
True. Yeah. And you can't have sex with her yet.
Right. I feel like that's what's happening.
It's so interesting. Kate stumbles over her words, confessing to Anthony that she can no longer object to his courtship of Edwina. Anthony is disappointed. He just wants to kiss her in this moment, but Edwina is the perfect girl for a marriage. He wants to shake Kate, like, what are you thinking? But this is also scary for him. It doesn't even have anything to do with sparing Edwina's feelings. He's just afraid of love and how it can be ripped away from him. Quote, death wasn't frightening to a man alone. The great beyond held no terror when one had managed to avoid attachments here on earth. He is on fire for her.
He is.
That's what he says. to himself.
This must be like a slang term that they use in this time frame because Simon's used it.
Yeah. It's just a trend.
Yeah, we'll see if Benedict uses it.
I'm sure he does. I bet they do.
All of them just burn the next their spouses. Yeah.
6 books.
Right. Just men burning.
I bet they do.
You should get that checked. Ooh. Just kidding. That might be syphilis.
Yeah, that's very dangerous in the 1830s. I'm sure.
I'm just kidding.
I know, but it's still funny.
No, it is.
It's also important to note, again, if I haven't yet, Anthony fully believes he will die, like, really soon. He thinks about it all the time. He doesn't know how. He just will. And it's because his father died at 39, and he just can't comprehend a world where he can outlive his father. And did you read the author's note at the end of this?
No.
Okay, I'm going to read the whole thing because it was really interesting. Anyways, then he sees a bee near Kate, and his fight or flight response kicks in, and he freezes. He's like, don't move. Oh my God, for the love of God, everything holy, do not move. And Kate is looking around like, what? Is a thunderstorm sneaking up on us?
It's the only thing she has.
She sees it's a bee, and she laughs it off. She's like, it's just a bee. Anthony straight up thinks the bee will kill Kate the same way it killed his father. He grabs her arm tightly and painfully, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? She doesn't recognize him as the man she's come to know. He's being so crazy. She finally yanks her arm free, and the bee stings her like right on the upper boob. I imagine like right here.
Yeah. Like right on her negligee.
Yeah, of course, the negligee.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Neckline?
I don't know. I heard it once.
I think just like the neckline of her dress.
I think so. To be honest, I'm not 100%. Oh, gosh. I just heard negligee once.
And she's like, it sounded like you said negligee.
Right on her negligee.
Anyways. And she's like, blast it all. What an inconvenience. And that's all it is to her. Then Anthony's like, hold still. I have to squeeze the venom out because you're dying, unfortunately. And he's fully...
Sorry to tell you, I'm fully licensed, and I'm here to tell you that you're dying.
So I'm going to try my best to save you. And he's fully cupping her boob, and she freezes, but she kind of likes it, but also like they're out in the garden. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Please stop. Like, I'm fine. Like, what are you doing? Anthony is not listening. Like, he's like, it's still swollen. I'm going to have to suck the venom out. And so he does. Kate likes it.
I mean,
but she's also like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on. And then she looks up and she sees Mary, Violet, and Portia watching them, and they're taking pictures of them.
They're about to post this on YouTube.
Yeah. This is gonna be a huge scandal.
It's gonna be huge.
Kate
TMZ's got wind of this already.
Yes, they're gonna run away with it. Kate is horrified to have been caught in this compromising position by the three matrons. She finds the strength and pushes Anthony off of her, and he falls on his butt. And he's like, what the fuck? Because he was oblivious to the women watching. But then he realizes they've been seen. And Violet is like, what is happening here, Anthony? And Kate was like, I was stung by a bee. See? Like, I'm fine. He just lost his shit on me. I don't know what's going on. Violet is probably the only one there that can truly understand and sympathize with Anthony's reaction. Mary is shocked, and then Portia is like super excited. And she's like, ooh. And I just, in the second season of the TV show, I just watched a scene today. She like caught her daughter with somebody. She like set him up. And she was like super excited. She's like, this is a scandal, everyone. I'm
gonna be so fucking for real. The casting they did for that particular, they did a really good job for most of the characters, I will say. Honestly, probably all of them. Mm-hmm. But god damn, Portia, they just nailed that shit.
Yeah, she's really good.
Kills that fucking role, dude.
She did. It's so
love
funny.
Her.
We have I can't wait to talk about the show because I didn't really watch it.
Did you? But you did. Nah, like you didn't watch it at all, or you did?
I did. I had it on. I watched like 3 episodes today.
Okay, cool.
Like 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. He was sucking your boob. Like, oh my God. Anthony says, will someone shut her up? And she's like, well, I never. Clutching her pearls. Yeah. And he's like, no, you always. They're so funny. Then Portia says, well, you have to marry. And Kate is like, are you mad? And then Portia's like, this is a funny quote. Lud. What is Lud? Lud, girl. He had his mouth on your bubbies. We all saw it. Get married or the gossips will tarnish you. Anthony threatens Portia into silence. He's like, no one's going to talk. Like,
shut the fuck up.
It's just like us 5 here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He was being very menacing. They said his stare was the kind that brought grown men to their knees. Like, okay. Anthony calls her a fishwife, which is, I had to look it up, a coarse-mannered woman who is prone to shouting. That's exactly her.
That sounds, pretty spot on.
I think that's so funny.
He I'll be honest, like sometimes he's kind of rude.
He's very, I have it somewhere in here. Like he threatens murder several times to several different characters.
Dude, like he's not the nicest person
he's not.
in the world.
He's
like
not.
that, I don't understand how that's not a turn off for her. Like,
yeah, like ooh,
he's just like unnecessarily mean.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's like, okay,
maybe he doesn't. He's got something against Portia, obviously.
Yeah, maybe not here. Maybe he's not unnecessarily mean here, but
yeah. In your chapters, I feel like he's
mean.
Okay,
yeah.
I can't wait to get to it. Portia is annoyed, but it's like, well, this happened in plain view of the house, and Violet panics, realizing that the guest wing is on this side of the house, like that they're facing, and anyone could have seen. And Kate's like, oh my God, no, we simply can't marry. And everyone ignores her. Then Anthony says, yes, we will marry. No worries. It'll be done next week. He thinks to himself somewhere around this point that he's relieved at this happening because he would have never married her had this not happened. And he never would have had the balls to do it, basically. But like deep down, he's thrilled. He just doesn't realize it yet.
How do you feel about that, though?
What?
That he just that thought process. That he's just like...
I just feel like it's him not realizing his feelings or not like recognizing them.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just get like it just makes me feel like icky inside.
Oh, for sure. Like the whole up until like the last chapter, I'm like, finally he has like this breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like even just the way that he's like, he just kind of views her as like almost unmarriageable in a sense. Like I'm just like, she's perfect for you.
Yeah. It's like that thing inside his inner monologue is different than how he is acting and what he's saying.
Yeah, but even when he thinks to himself, like, I would never have married her otherwise, I feel like sometimes it seems like it's even more than just like the fact, and I could be so wrong, but just the fact that he could love her, it feels like he's almost just like, she's not the conventionally perfect wife that I'm looking for.
I didn't get that. I thought the whole time that he was just afraid of love, and he knows somewhere deep down that he loves her.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like that's 100% part of it.
Right. But also, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Like the spinster part.
Not like spinster, but just like the fact that she's so outspoken and she's kind of not
obedient,
clumsy,
compliant.
Yeah, and she's not as graceful, and she wouldn't be considered the diamond like by her looks or whatever. I'm just like,
I see that. I could see that.
I don't know. Maybe I could be off base there.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Just that line.
Look for more clues.
That line made me feel like, ugh.
Yeah, he's not great. He's not perfect.
No, and no one who is though.
No, not me.
Me, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'll tell you who's perfect.
Anyways, this is the second Bridgerton sibling that has been forced to marry due to an incident in the garden. Mm-hmm. It could have been, I don't know, whatever. Okay, anyways.
I kind of like it because it's called karma.
What do you mean?
I feel like it's a little bit of karma.
Oh, like you get what you deserve?
I don't want to say like you get like necessarily what you deserve.
You shouldn't have kissed her.
Just the way
shouldn't have sucked on her boob.
100%. But like the way that he treated Simon.
Oh,
with everything that happened with Daphne and how irate he was. And I get that a lot of it was because he felt like Simon wouldn't be a good husband to Daphne. Like I do get that. However, like I just feel like the way that he treated them and treated him even after that, like throughout the first couple months of their marriage, like it feels like, okay, now you're in this position where you feel some sort of objection to what, love, let's say, maybe not marriage, but love. Yeah. And now you're in this position where you can't hold yourself back. It's very like the parallel is like, okay, now you get it. Like now you have to have some empathy for Simon.
I kind of wish that Kate had a really protective older brother. And now he would have came at him. That would have been good.
That would have been interesting.
Someone would have died.
Yo, yeah. There wouldn't have been a draw in the school.
No. Kate is skeptical, but Anthony is like, well, this worked out. Like I had to get married this year anyway, and we'll suit each other just fine. Tell Edwina whatever you want. Lie, truth, I don't care. I didn't promise her like shit. And because Kate was like, well, what about Edwina? He's like, well, I didn't promise her anything. And she's like, but also, why do you have to get married this year? And he's like, well, because I decided to.
Obviously.
Duh.
You silly bird. It's a man thing.
Yeah, for sure. Kate expressed that she maybe thought she would never get married. And then Anthony feels rage because she truly had no idea that she might be attractive and desirable in her own right, like next to Edwina. And I feel like that directly contradicts what you were saying. That's why I was like,
yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. She still feels dejected, like everyone will think she trapped him into marriage. Anthony says, like, it'll be fine. No one's going to get hurt at all, as long as we don't fall in love. And this hurts Kate even more, but she agrees. Anthony asks for privacy, and Mary and Violet grant it willingly, but they have to drag Portia behind them after Anthony whispered to Violet that if she does not remove her from his presence in 10 seconds, he will murder her. That was like the quote. He's like, I will murder this bitch.
Yeah, and just like even what he said about Edwina, he's like, I didn't promise her anything. It's just mean.
Yeah,
like,
it's very, like mean. What is the word? Cold? Like disconnected. He leads Kate to a gazebo with tall bushes surrounding it, and they kiss a bunch. They both learn of their shared desires, but Kate is really worried she's fallen from grace. He's like, believe me, like you haven't. She tries to come up with reasons as to why he will inevitably cancel the wedding, but he's like, no, we're doing this. And she's confused because she truly thought that he was more into / attracted / wanted Edwina, which makes sense.
Kind of.
Because she just doesn't have any self-confidence. That's why.
That's fair. That's very
That's fair. Why I feel like that's it.
Yeah, 1000%.
Lady Whistledown reports on their engagement, of course, and that they were caught doing something scandalous, but she hasn't been able to get all the details. She's like, the only thing that makes sense is that Anthony threatened bodily harm against Mrs. P if she had spilled the beans. even the writer.
Even Lady Whistledown
is like,
knows exactly what happened.
Anthony threatened murder. It's a personality trait.
Lady Whistledown is like almost psychic, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like she's very
maybe not
intuitive, maybe.
Yeah.
She can see what's going to happen, like Lady Danbury in the show.
And I feel like she's able to pinpoint people's personalities almost to a fucking T. That's why I feel like she does such a good job reporting on people.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting. It'd be so hard to do that job.
Oh, 1000%. I definitely feel like it takes a level of like very much like empathy and like just reading people, which like not a lot of people are very good at.
That's true. And it's hard to believe that because I'm not going to say I'm really good at it, but I feel like I have good social awareness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure. But even just to be able to kind of like be able to just figure out what happened in any given situation just based off of like certain
their actions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like that is really interesting.
Crazy. She should be a detective. Could you imagine? Lady Whistledown does like, they do like a book where she has to where she has to like solve a murder. Good at
it. She'd solve it so fast.
Oh my God. I would read that in a second.
Somebody write it. Fanfic.
Please.
Send it in.
Ugh.
Anthony announces their engagement at dinner, and Kate is overwhelmed by all the well-wishers. Edwina is very excited for her and not surprised at all. She said it was obvious that Anthony was smitten with Kate, and anyone would be dumb not to have recognized it. But Kate is not convinced. She's confused. She thinks for sure Anthony had his sights set on Edwina. Once they get back to London, like everyone on the scene, like in the ton, comes to say congrats on Kate's betrothal. But then a lot of people are skeptical. They're like, how did you do it? What did you do? Are you a witch? How did you trap this man? They are to be married only 9 days after their scandalous garden incident. During this time, Violet takes her out shopping for everything she'll need and spends a ton of money on her. And Kate is like, holy shit, like this is my life now. Like they're just going to like spend a bunch of money on me. Great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But like basically, she
was a little poor, Kate.
Yeah, they were very poor. They were like, this is all the means they had. This was their livelihood, their future livelihood for all of their family. If like that was why they had to marry Edwina off, otherwise they would have had nothing.
Yeah.
So truly, this was like their last shot, and like Kate hit.
She hit the jackpot.
She won the lottery, basically.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Anthony shows up 2 days before their wedding. He had been away all week because he had a lot of business to take care of or something like that. But he also thought about her the entire time he was away. Edwina and Mary are off on a promenade, I'm sure. They are not there, but Newton is there and he's taking a little nap. Anthony wanted to make it clear to her that this was not a love match and it wasn't going to grow into one. 2 days before the wedding. When he gets there, he realized he's being watched by people of the ton. Like all eyes are on them, the current scandal. They settle in. Kate offers him tea and he tells her, listen, I can't give you love. That's simply not on the table. It's not in the cards. but I promise to be faithful and respectful as long as you are as well. I expect that you can do that. She thought he was being a touch condescending, and he was being very condescending.
I agree.
Yeah. Kate is understanding, but that still hurts her. It hurts to hear. She knows she could easily fall in love with him after they get married, and is just confused. Anthony then gives her an engagement ring, which is a family heirloom. Not the flashiest in the collection, but he thought she'd like it, and she does. She loves it. She's not a ring person, but she loves it. I'm not a ring person either.
No. Actually, I am.
I was going to say. Okay, you're in between.
Okay, here's the thing. I respect the artistry of jewelry. Do I wear it often? No. So I would say like in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could agree. Then he's like, shall we celebrate with a kiss? And he pulls her onto his lap and kisses her, but she accidentally kicks Newton, wakes him up. Newton gets excited that Anthony is there and tries to kiss his face, and Anthony orders him to sit down, and he listens. And I don't think there's any reason that Newton has to be in the scene. Anyways, then he kisses her passionately while trying to get an idea of how much she knows about sex, which feels icky. She seems to be just as naive as Daphne was, which seems to be a theme here, like men fawning over innocent virgins, and it's not my favorite thing.
She's just a little more educated because she grew up on a farm.
Yeah, and we'll go over that later.
Yeah.
But she still is just not 100% comfortable with what he's doing.
No, and I think like literally coming in and saying, I'm literally never going to love you ever. I can't love you. We're never going to love each other. Also, let's see your boobies. Just feels awkward.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah, because he pulls her dress down and he's like sucking on her nipples. And Kate is like, what are you doing? But he's like, she likes it and he likes that. Like he is making her feel this way. But then he's like, well, that was fun. I got to go. I'm afraid Mary's going to walk in any moment. We can't be caught. I'll see you on Saturday. And which is 2 days away. And she's like, why Saturday? Like, why not tomorrow? And it's because Violet believes that it's bad luck to see the bride the day before the wedding. So he'll stay away to appease his mother, even though he doesn't believe it's bad luck. He just loves and respects his mother and will endlessly do whatever he has to keep her in content. And Kate's like, wow, oh my God, that's so sweet. And then quotes from Anthony. Anthony paused for a moment, well aware that most men of his reputation did not want to appear tied to apron strings. But this was Kate, and he knew that she valued devotion to family as much as he did. I can't be seen as a
little wussy boy.
Yeah.
A little mama's boy.
A mama's boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He leaves.
It's so silly.
It is. He leaves, super happy at how responsive Kate was to his seductions. And is excited to get married. It's going to be so fun to fuck Kate for 9 years and pretend not to love her. This whole thing leaves Kate very confused because basically his actions are contradicting his words. He's like, I will never love you, then proceeds to worship her body, which can leave a young girl confused.
Very confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she just tells herself that if she does end up falling for him, she'll just have to keep that to herself.
I'm convinced that the people that read this and like fall in love with these men haven't read about a good like book men. Yeah. Because like I would prefer Tamlin over this.
Oh yeah, that's so funny. Tamlin is a choice.
No, but maybe not Tamlin. I mean, maybe not like getting locked in a house. Ugh. But I mean, I'm just saying that like.
No, I understand.
This just feels like a toxic boyfriend I had. Like you would have.
Right.
Like, at 18 years old that you like look back and you're like, fucking thank God I never ended up with that guy.
Right. For like 20 out of 22 chapters.
And then like, yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I just think that they've never read about like a good like book man. Like Rhysand blows this out of the water.
Yeah.
Azriel hasn't even been with any of the women and he's blowing this out of the water. Right. Cassian blows this out of the water.
Yeah. I think SJM really just knows how to write most.
I think Jeremy from Verity even kind of blows this out of the water. Minus the murder, minus the murder, minus the murder, minus the murder, minus the murdering. Okay? Okay?
Anthony has only threatened murder.
If he didn't murder people, he'd be better. Oh than this. Are you joking?
Yeah,
he would. Okay, minus.
Interesting.
I feel justified in saying that, actually.
That's funny. Jeremy. Who else? Glaukos.
No. No, he's definitely better than Glaucus. He's definitely better than
Odysseus.
The brother. No,
Aeetes.
Aeetes. He's definitely better than I think he's better than Odysseus,
but not better than Daedalus.
Not better than Daedalus. Not better than what is the
Telegonus?
Telegonus? No, Telemachus. Not better than Telemachus. I just feel like the bar is in hell for the men and the Bridgerton men.
Guy on our list right now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maybe Tamlin's worse. I shouldn't have said Tamlin, but
it's all opinion.
Tamlin without the locking in a fucking house.
Yeah, he loved her.
I don't know. Maybe Tamlin is pretty bad too. But at least he was nicer. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Anthony is just like a strange one.
All right, here we go. Sorry, we just took a shot.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of vodka in my chin. And I just do this thing where I cringe. Like, because I think about it. And
like, what? Wait, what do you mean?
When I think about
while
the
you're
shot
taking it?
And how it tastes.
Yeah.
Just in the moment.
Every time I take a shot, I want to throw up.
Yeah, it's not like a fun feeling. I'm going to do so good today.
All right.
Okay. All right. The night before their wedding, Mary tells Kate what she can expect from her wedding night.
All right. I like how this differs from Violet.
100%.
Yeah.
So Kate says she assumes marital relations are not mechanically different from animals having sex, which she's seen because they, I think they grew up on a farm. Yeah. So
right.
she's
seen the animals copulating. Is that the right word?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that the right word?
Yeah. Seems right.
All right.
It sounds right. So we're going to say it. But Mary explains that there is more pleasure in it because it is an act of love. And like technically, as organisms that feel emotion, it's...
Did you describe a human as an organism?
She doesn't say this. So basically, because humans are different, they experience emotion. So that way, like, sex is more pleasure. But I do feel like there's other animals that do have sex for pleasure, like dolphins.
Yeah. Ooh, it's fun that we both knew that.
It's such a fun fact.
But yeah, she's like the animals on the farm, like they don't seem to enjoy it. So it's like that. Is that what I'm in for?
She doesn't. No. Yeah. So Mary is sure that Antony will be good to Kate because he cares for her and he respects her. And she's basically like, I think he'll be gentle. He'll probably be gentle. So you'll probably be fine.
I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah. I mean, but truly, like, that's the best you can kind of hope for.
Yeah, because she was in not a good marriage, right?
Her first marriage was not. It was a little bit more, like, they didn't explain it in too much detail, but it just kind of, it seemed like it was very, like, just not pleasurable and almost maybe 4?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was the only one that was kind of
that's what I got out of it too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically Mary says that men can find pleasure in sex pretty much no matter what with pretty much whoever, which is
like every
rings
time
true today.
100%.
Every single time. Yeah.
Rings true today for sure.
Yeah. And just male biology, like they can get their rocks off anywhere. Women have a harder time is kind of how she explained it, but it can happen for sure. It's just
it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like that, but women can also find pleasure. It's just not as easy for
Don't let them fucking
women.
fool you into thinking that it can't happen.
You can. And if you're not, have a chat with the men you're having sex with.
Yes.
Or get a vibrator.
Both.
And figure out what you like.
Yeah. Sound advice.
Absolutely. When Mary leaves, Kate worries that if a man always finds pleasure in sex, then Antony might think of someone else when he is with her, and she just truly would never know. That makes me really sad.
It is sad.
The wedding passes quickly, and in the carriage to Antony's townhouse, he asks Kate if she is nervous. Really quick, I just want to say about the wedding. I think it's really funny, the wedding scene, because Gregory and Hyacinth made Antony and Kate's wedding almost as exciting as Daphne and Simon's. Yeah. I just noticed like a parallel between that too.
Yeah, that was funny. The sentence that I have about their marriage or their wedding is the word I'm looking for. Kate was attended by Edwina, Anthony by his brother Benedict, and in due course they were man and wife. That was the wedding.
Yeah, but also Gregory and Hyacinth were doing some crazy shit.
What were they?
They were
doing?
like running around, playing. Like it was something weird. Like they were just like making kind of.
I remember. They're being troublemakers.
Being troublemakers, which I guess in the first one, like Gregory had like hiccups or something, or had a cough or something. Sneezing. Which is kind of something out of his control. But I just thought it was kind of funny.
It's not his fault.
It's not like technically his fault. This one was his fault. The other one probably wasn't. But I just thought it was kind of a funny parallel.
It was fun.
Another parallel to Daphne and Simon. So in the town or in the carriage back to the townhouse, Anthony asks Kate if she's nervous, and he tells her there is nothing to fear. Kate replies that there is, quote, still much about which to be nervous. Because obviously she doesn't know too much. She knows like the basics of anatomy and
she doesn't know what's going to
biology
happen,
and whatever, but it's different to feel it than to know it.
Yeah, and she's also worried where Anthony's head is at.
Yeah. And if he'll think about someone else during the act. Anthony admits he is nervous too, and Kate asks him if they can wait a week for their wedding night and their wedding night activities. Kate says she would like time to prepare, but when Anthony asks her to clarify, Kate is struggling to find a way to explain why or what she needs.
She's not mentally prepared.
Yeah, but
and she doesn't know how to say that.
Yeah. But even just her saying like, I need a week should have just been like, okay.
Yeah, he was like, no.
Exactly.
Like, you're my wife.
100%.
What do you mean? We're going to do this?
Yeah, this is like my marital right, basically.
Yeah. Oh, God. My jaw dropped a lot, I feel like, in this chapter.
With this specifically, yes.
Yeah.
Kate thinks about her insecurities from having always been compared to Edwina. Kate wants to be first in Antony's affections and desires, and she does not feel like she is at the moment. When they arrive at the townhouse and meet the staff, Antony observes Kate's behavior and realizes that she's afraid. Only now is he realizing that she's afraid, which is crazy, because I don't know what didn't give that away.
She was literally like trying to express that.
She was trying to say it literally with her words. Yeah. But it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. In his room, Antony asks if she's afraid of him, but because he is desperate to make things right between them and he wants to like get between them cheeks. Basically. Antony drops to his knees and tells her that whatever she asks of him, he will give it to her. If it is his power to give. And Kate asks him to love her. And he doesn't object. They have sex.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting. I struggled a lot in this chapter because, they did kind of have a back and forth about her comfortability. And because she couldn't explain it and like perfectly and articulate exactly how she was feeling, like he basically was like,
he shut it down.
Yeah. Which felt icky.
I didn't like it. Was that chapter 16?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say this once, I'll say it again, I'll say it probably every single time we read this book. I understand that she's taking like creative liberties in terms of like this being similar to maybe how people would act in the 1813s or 14s, I think is where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think like this is a romanticized fiction book though. So it's like, I don't get why she just doesn't like make them a little bit more
sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like nice.
And have a little bit more like integrity. Like, I just don't
love it.
I don't get it, kind of.
Me
I'm just
either.
like very kind of at a loss. And I'm also kind of at a loss at how people like
love this book. How it got turned into a Netflix series.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this book was way better than the first book. Okay, well, we can go over that later. But anyways, sorry. So chapter 17. Antony realizes how much he wanted to hear Kate say yes to him. And he carries her to the bed and they undress. Kate is sure of how much he wants her and she feels beautiful. Oh. When she sees Antony fully naked, so when she sees Antony fully naked, sorry, this part's so funny. She sees his wang and she's like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. I don't even think that like this isn't going to work out. I don't think it'll fit. I don't think that like my body can take that. I think he might rip my insides out. And that's hilarious.
I don't remember that specifically.
Maybe she didn't go that far. Maybe she didn't say
she's probably just like her eyes widened.
She literally thinks she's like, I don't think the mechanics of sex will work. I don't think this is gonna work. I think at one point too, she's like, now I understand why the animals on the farm seem like they took a lot of pleasure in sex.
I do remember that line. Yeah, she's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
This is going to hurt.
This isn't going to be great. This is going to suck.
Yeah.
Anthony asks Kate to tell him if it hurts. And when she nods, she's basically nodding, saying like, okay, yeah, I'll tell you. But he thinks that he's hurting her. So he's like, oh, and she's like, no, I'll tell you. Yes, I understand. Like I'm acknowledging.
Come on, Anthony.
Kate says it doesn't hurt, but it does feel like, quote, odd. Anthony asks Kate if she's ticklish, and he tickles her.
What?
This actually happened.
I forgot about this. This is another jaw-dropping moment for me.
Jaw-dropping. It was crazy. I don't know what to say about this. Okay. Anthony asks Kate if she's ticklish, and he tickles her to help her relax and distracts her momentarily when he thrusts his entirety of his giant wang into her.
Tickling does not make people relax.
No, it does the opposite.
It tightens them up.
So
somebody wanted.
But to be fair, we've seen Anthony, and he's not a doctor. Like, we get that after the bee situation. We get that after this whole like tickling relaxes her muscles. He definitely shouldn't ever be a doctor.
No, he's clearly just not familiar with the.
Did he learn anything at Oxford? Did he learn anything at Oxford?
That was an insane thing to write down on paper and publish in a book.
I actually kind of like it though, because it does I actually kind of think it's genius, because that is 100% something a man would do, thinking that it would relax a woman.
Okay. Yeah. True.
Like it seems it's very realistic.
It's realistic.
It's almost too realistic.
It's
okay,
horrifying.
It's happened to you before. Okay. No, John.
Oh my God. I don't even know what I would do in that situation. Definitely block and ghost.
Oh God. Okay.
Did we even? Okay. Let's keep going.
As they move together, Anthony struggles not to finish before Kate does. Anthony tells her she is beautiful, and Kate suddenly tenses up and starts kind of crying. Not
tearing
kind
up a little.
Yeah, she's definitely like, maybe it's like a question. She's not like kind of crying. She's crying.
Her mood shifts.
Yeah, it's intense though. At first, Anthony thinks he hurt her, but Kate quickly says she is not beautiful and asks who he's picturing as they're having sex.
And he says, I have it all written down.
Okay.
The whole quote.
Do it.
He says, listen to me and listen well, because I'm only going to say this once. I desire you. I burn for you. I can't sleep at night for wanting you. Even when I didn't like you, I lusted for you. It's the most maddening, beguiling, damnable thing, but there it is. And if I hear one more word of nonsense from your lips, I'm going to have to tie you to the bloody bed and have my way with you 100 different ways until you finally get it through your silly skull that you are the most beautiful and desirable woman in England. And if everyone else can't see that, then they're all bloody fools.
Okay, I just got chills.
That's a quote right there.
It's like they're so shitty for like most of the book, and then they throw out these lines, and like I have chills. That's so good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Kate is genuinely stunned. She nods that she understands, and they continue having sex. Kate finishes first, then Anthony. Kate teases Anthony by asking if they are done yet. She's like,
oh, she did that a couple times, didn't she?
Yeah. So basically, like when he just like put it in, she was like, "Is that it?"
That was funny.
Not like, "Is that it?" as in like it's small, but she's like, "Is that the whole act?"
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, what's the and he was like, "No, not even close." And so then she's like, "Oh, are we done yet?" Like in a more seductive way, knowing that that's not the case.
It was kind of cute, yeah.
And Anthony smiles and answers that they were done for now, but only for now. Kat and Anthony spend a brief time at Aubrey Hall, then return to London to finish the social season. Edwina visits Kate one afternoon and tells her that she has fallen in love with Mr. Bagwell, a scholar she met at the Aubrey Hall house party, the party that Anthony was sucking on Kate's negligee to get the bee poison.
Of course.
Anthony joins them as he has an unexpected block of free time in the afternoon. Anthony hasn't been coming home super often because he feels as though if he stays away during the day and only is around at night to basically make love to her. Yeah.
Make love.
No. Yeah. To bang.
Yeah.
To do the nasty, that he won't fall in love with her. But today is different. So he comes home because he has a block of free time. Kate's very surprised about this. Kate tells him of Edwina's new romance, and Anthony says he would like to meet Mr. Bagwell since he is the head of the family. Kate walks Edwina out and Anthony stays behind in the sitting room. He reflects on his afternoons of late and how, contrary to what he told Kate, he has spent his time at White's Gentlemen's Club playing cards and reading the paper. Because he's been saying to Kate that he's been like
so
working.
busy with like paperwork and like visiting estates, whatever the fuck he does.
And she's eating that up, which makes me kind of sad a little bit. But
it does suck.
Yeah, that's a bummer. But Anthony thinks about how to maneuver Kate to the bedroom, not realizing that Kate is trying to talk to him.
He literally never listens to her. He's like always thinking about how much he likes her.
He's thinking about how much he wants to fuck her.
And then she's like trying to talk about like what?
Anything.
Oh my God. All the time.
100%. 100%. Where men don't realize like listening is the key to like a woman's heart. But
that's
like
it. That's like literally
trained.
it.
Yeah.
Like just let me know that you heard me speaking just now.
And you care.
Yeah.
You know? Here's a little dating advice. But the thing is, though, is he's not trying to fall in love with her.
Right.
Like he really is just trying to do his like
not
quote unquote marriage duty and like get her pregnant to have a son. But also he does love her. I think. No.
Oh, I think so. I think he did for a long time. He just never admitted it.
Yeah,
to himself.
For sure. Anthony says he would like to provide a dowry for Edwina, which makes Kate start to cry because she thinks it's the nicest thing anyone has ever done for her or for like her
for
family.
her. But then Anthony was like, "Well, I did it for Edwina. So it's for Edwina."
Yeah, but still.
But he was gonna offer one to Kate if he had married Edwina. So
yeah, because he's an honorable man. But I still do think that it if it was me in that position, like I would kind of feel the same way. Like
for sure.
To take on family means so much that even the wife that you bring on, like this would mean a lot to me. Like that you'd feel responsible for also my family. That's a huge, huge thing.
Which Reese never did with Nesta.
Reese said, "Fuck your sisters, fuck your family,
all your entire family." Like
literally,
hate them all.
I hate them. That's so funny. Kate happily goes over and sits in his lap, and Anthony thinks they fit together perfectly. Anthony asks her what her plans are, what their plans are for the evening, and Kate says they're meant to attend a ball at Lady Mottram's. But Anthony says they ought to go to bed and stay there for the rest of the night.
There's one quote from chapter 18 that said, maybe Anthony was dancing a lot with with Kate.
Yeah.
And it says, considering how many husbands don't like to dance with their wives at all, this is romantic stuff indeed.
Yeah. So at the beginning,
super low standards.
100%. At the beginning, Lady Whistledown was kind of reporting on like the different societal functions because they were going to dances in the evenings, different I would say just dances.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And at those specific dances, he was actually seeking out his wife, seeking out Kate, and spending time with her and dancing with her. And that was seen as, a romantic gesture.
I guess that's not normal for husbands and wives.
Probably not in this time frame. It seems to me that the expectation or like the norm is to marry out of convenience, not necessarily out of love.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's just this whole family is just different.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of crazy how it is like literally the entire family? Yeah. Like, what are they putting in their soup?
Right.
Like what?
Like Violet experienced it and she's like, y'all need to get married for a love match.
Well, that probably is what it is though. Yeah. It probably is that Violet and like this family seeing a true love match now aspires for a true love match.
Which makes sense. And I'm happy for it.
100%.
Happy for them.
100%. I just am surprised that not one of them like married someone that they didn't love. Like I'm just like one of them.
Anthony tried so hard.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Anthony and Kate are cuddling. Kate is asleep. It's raining. He's scared she'll wake up and have a fit of fear, but the storm is not electrical in nature yet. Kate is clearly having a nightmare, and he thinks it's because of the storm, but she keeps saying, "Mama, mama, mama." She, in her sleep, opens her eyes and cowers in fear, and at one point he describes her as a statue. She's like frozen, but he knows that like she's still asleep in this moment. She's not awake. But he comforts her as much as he can, and he stays awake all night, scared and hurt at her nightmare experience. When she wakes up, Anthony tells her she was calling out for her mama. It's gotta be mama.
It's mama.
Mama. That's how Brutus says it. Anyways.
What?
Mama, papa.
That's how Brutus.
He's
Your
like,
dog?
I require a potty break.
That actually, he is such a distinguished Okay, let's move on.
That fits.
Distinguished gentleman. Oh my god, English is hard. I think I was meant to speak another language because I just don't feel like English fits me well. I don't.
The evidence is clear.
The evidence is there. Honest to God.
No. Anyway, mama. When Kate wakes up, Anthony tells her she was calling out for her mama. She doesn't know why. She definitely wasn't referring to Mary because she always calls her Mary. Anthony is like, well, you should ask Mary what that might be about because she might know. So they head to Mary's house, apartment. I don't know. Kate confesses how she fears storms and like how it has never gone away and could it have anything to do with her birth mother. And Mary is horrified and says if she knew about this, she would have told her sooner. And so here's the story. This is also a crazy story.
This is the craziest fucking story. This is literally how Julia Quinn actually thought of the story fucking blows my mind.
I would actually like to know. So Julia, if you're listening, please reach out.
Because I'm fucking gobsmacked by this.
We would love an interview.
Flabbergasted. What were you thinking when you thought of this?
Okay.
And how?
The Exorcist.
Facts.
Kate is 3 years old. Her mother had pneumonia or some sort of lung condition, and she was really, really sick for like a week. During that week, it was raining and thunderstorming like the whole time. And so Kate was confined to the house, even though she loved to be outside at that time in her life. And they kept her away from her mother as well, as they were afraid she would also get sick. So she was stuck inside, can't see her mother. She was getting a little cabin fever.
Yeah.
Stir crazy.
Antsy. Yeah.
But one night during this week, Kate had had enough and found her way to her mother. She was like screaming, crying, clutching onto her mother. Her father was trying to get her out. And then all of a sudden, there was a bolt of lightning and the room lit up like super eerily. It stayed lit longer than it should have. And Kate froze like a statue and also didn't like the windows were blown out.
Yeah.
And
I think like a tree came bursting in. Like burst in through the door, like into the window.
Yeah. Things are flying around. And then Kate's mother sits bolt upright, like her demons were being exorcised.
Yeah.
And then she died. And Kate raged again and was clutching onto her. And then she fell back down. And they had to wait until Kate exhausted herself to sleep before they could remove her from her mother.
What the fuck?
That's so out of pocket.
This is like what?
I just imagine Julia at her keyboard, like, okay,
how do I make this dramatic enough?
Like what could be good enough for Kate to be afraid of thunderstorms into her 20s?
Like this afraid.
Right. Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, duh.
She's watching The Exorcist while she's writing.
Yeah. Please.
This is insane.
It's so crazy.
What the hell is this scene? I want to know how many people have actually been through this, and I want to take a poll.
No, okay.
Has anyone ever had this experience where they've watched their mother die like this? Please let us know.
I was going to look that up, but I was like, I really want to look that up. Like, what are the statistics? But I'm like, what do I put into Google?
Yeah. What do you put into Google? Like, mother die in a thunderstorm, right? As lightning strikes, like tree bursts into the room, everything's broken. Mother sits upright and falls down.
Because I've heard of like agonal breathing, which is like your dying breath, but that's just like a big last breath.
Yeah,
your body doesn't contort.
Yeah. No, and I've seen that. But like this is like, and maybe the sitting up thing is not abnormal. Like maybe that's like something that people have seen. I just think everything together is nuts.
So much.
Everything together just seems fucking insane.
It is. It is.
That's what I'm like, one or two of these things happening at the same time. Okay. I can buy it.
All right.
This is like 7 different like the story just kept going. My mouth was on the floor. I was like, what is this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's
crazy.
keep going.
Okay.
Afterwards, there were moments when Kate's father tried asking her about the incident or tried talking about it with her, and she would shut it down. Eventually, he stopped trying, telling himself she didn't remember what happened. Mary and Kate are crying together. It's a tough story for both of them. For me, this was the most unexpected scene.
It's like, I can't even feel sad because I have no idea what I just can't even like
it wasn't straight. Sad.
It's not
It wasn't sad scene.
I don't even know what to feel.
Kate and Mary crying together was like touching, but it wasn't really sad.
No, because I can't like empathize with this.
No.
This isn't like a relatable experience.
It's not very relatable. Anyway, Kate thanks Mary, saying it was important for her to know where her fear comes from, even though she doesn't remember the incident. And even Anthony is crying at this interaction. About 3 things Kate was absolutely positive. First, Anthony was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and she didn't even know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for her blood. And third, she was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. To Google that quote, to put it in there.
I knew where it
anyway.
was going.
It would be so cool if Anthony was a vampire, but the realization is that Kate is in love with Anthony in this moment. It hits her.
So remember that one episode where I said... that the choke thing was the funniest thing you ever said. Okay, you topped it.
Really? Yes.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I knew where you were going about halfway through, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
I got it out. Okay.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
Anyways, she's definitely in love with him, and she can't even let herself think about what if he's not in love back. It's not a place that she wants to go right now. It's clear from Anthony's inner monologue that he's in love with her too, but he hasn't admitted that to himself quite yet. It is chapter 20. According to Lady Whistledown, it seems that Edwina has fallen in love with a man. Yay, she got her scholar.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Later that same night, Kate tells Anthony she thinks she has been cured of her fear of storms and can't wait to test out her theory. She says, next time I bet I'll sleep through it. And then she confesses that during these storms, every single time, she always felt sure that she would die. The fear was so intense, like there was no way she would make it, which does sound like a panic attack as I understand them, but I've only had one.
Yeah, but it's also so crazy that she just literally found out her story and she's healed.
She's like,
I think I'm going to be okay.
That all makes sense now. I can move on.
I can move on. I'm good now. Everything's so fine.
This book.
It's so insane. Now that here's the thing. Genuinely, when I'm reading through it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, sure, yeah. When we're talking through it, it's like I get into this haze when I'm reading it, where like for some reason I gaslight myself into thinking this is okay or makes sense, and then like now that I'm stepping away, I'm like. No, it fucking doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. That is so funny. I didn't. She's just like, oh my God, what a weight off my shoulders this has been.
I know now, and I'm good. Like, what?
I'm good.
That's just how trauma works.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know. Figure out what happened to you and you're cured.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know.
That's what the scientists say. That's what Anthony says, Dr. Anthony says.
I would like a spinoff of him in medical school.
Same.
Anthony thinks about how he's always been afraid that he'll die young, of dying in general at this point. Kate has a grasp on her own mortality, and he had no idea. He has always felt alone, knowing that he will die young, and he's always felt isolated because of that. The rest of society doesn't seem to acknowledge that morbid truth. And this is when he realizes that he is in love with Kate.
Yes.
Quote.
God.
Yeah, thank God. Finally, chapter 20. And now the thought of dying, of leaving her, of knowing that their moments together would form a short poem and not a long and lusty novel, it was more than he could bear. He's jealous that Kate had faced her demons and won, and because he wasn't there yet. He is overcome with his emotions, and he and Kate have sex where their climaxes were fiery and simultaneous, which happens all the time to women.
Yeah, I can think of at least... just kidding.
Afterward, Kate mentions that she's so happy and she hopes they'll always be like this, always and forever. And those words trigger what I would describe as an existential crisis within Anthony. He's like,
100%.
How many years do I have left? He panics and runs away, out the door, out the house. Kate is confused and hurt and prays for a thunderstorm because obviously Anthony is fighting these demons he may never be ready to face. And if that leaves her alone, she needs to be strong. And then like Anthony like is leaving. He's like on the yard or in the street or whatever, and he like looks up and she's like looking out the window and he's just staring at her for who knows how long, and then he runs away.
So
like if he was actually a vampire, this whole scene would make sense.
This whole scene would make a lot of sense. I really can't get over that. That was so funny. That was the funniest thing ever. Oh my God.
Kate has no appetite for breakfast and is interrupted by a butler with a letter from Eloise Bridgerton, and it says, "Hello, Anthony is here. Thought you ought to know." She decides she's going to go confront him. And here we get a little bit more of Eloise.
Yes, I was super excited about this. I was excited to talk about this.
Cool.
Dude, yeah. But here's the thing, though. Like, what I loved about Eloise in this, in the books compared to the show, because I know you said like you love Eloise in the show. The one critique I have of Eloise in the show is she's very self-centered. She doesn't seem to be aware of anyone outside of herself pretty much ever for the entirety of the book or the entirety of the show. In the books, this right here just is so like, I love it because it shows how compassionate and like aware she is of other people and caring that she is of other people. Oh. And I actually kind of like that better.
I love that. So she explains that she had been spying on Anthony. He had like snuck in, who knows when. She was up. It was like 4 a.m. or something. She was up. She saw him come in, go into his study, and she just like sat outside his door, waited for him to come out. And she's like reading a book. She waited for like 3 hours. And he is looking rough, she said. Kate tells her she should be a spy for the war or something. I don't know what's going on in 1813, but she's
there must be a war. Oh, actually, I think there's a war in America. Oh, they talked about that in the first book, remember? Because that's why Simon didn't go to America, because he wanted to go to the Americas. Oh, and that there was a war.
What is it? The Civil War?
It had to have been.
Okay, wait, American Civil War.
It had to have been
1861 to 1865.
Oh,
it's too late. Okay, wait.
What war?
War of 1812.
Oh. What was the war?
Oh, God. It began when the United States declared war on Britain.
Oh, boom.
June 18th, 1812. This is in the middle of a war. We never get any war stuff.
Boom. Though there was a war, though.
Yeah.
The War of 1812, which ended when?
Oh, gosh. 1815.
Perfect. There's a war going on right now. Not okay. That's
perfect. Great. We love that.
But the timelines, that's bad. That sounds bad. The timelines match up.
That's interesting.
That makes sense to why. That's why he didn't go, or Simon never went to the Americas, because he did say that there was a war going on, and that makes sense that it would be between Britain, because there must have been some animosity. Americans probably wouldn't have liked to have anybody from Britain coming over.
America sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're in a war with another country, it just tends to, like, that happens. It sucks, but it does tend to happen.
Yeah.
Probably especially in that time frame.
War in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like this is the first mention of war. Is it? Or did when they talked about Simon not going to Americas, that was okay.
That was the first one.
All right. Anyways,
Kate, did they talk about war just now?
Well, Kate told Eloise that she should be a spy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about that already. It's been 5 seconds. I was like, why do we even bring that up?
What are we talking about? This?
I forgot. That shot is really fucking me up.
Okay. Anyways, good. Kate goes into the study and Anthony is asleep at his desk and she wakes him up. She tries asking what is going on in his head, but he's annoyed she's there. He's like drunk or like hungover and overstimulated, and he just needs to be alone to think. She refuses to leave and he is not answering any questions. He just keeps saying, I need to think. And she's like, oh, about what? Like, what is going on? Just tell me something.
Yeah.
They go to kiss and he's like, no, and kicks her out. And she leaves hurt and confused. And then he wallows in his guilt. He's being really fucking stupid.
He's being super stupid.
Yeah. He gets drunk and ends up at the club where him and his brothers hang out all the time. Benedict and Colin are there. We get some fun Benedict and Colin here. They're like,
yeah, finally Benedict shows up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
in the last half of the fucking second book. We need more Benedict.
Yeah, I love them both. But they like clock what's going on like immediately, and they're like, "Did Kate get you?" That's what they said.
Did Kate kick you? Which is honestly same.
Kick you out?
Yeah.
Kick you out? Kick you out? They have a lot of funny and quick banter, and Anthony gets annoyed and overstimulated again. But Colin says, like, for real, what is happening? All you have to do is go home, tell Kate you love her. Like, it's simple as that. Like, what are you doing? What's going on here? And then Anthony has an epiphany. He's like, it is as simple as that, I guess. I just need to go tell her I love her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just needed to hear from Colin's mouth. He had to make sure she knew, and he vowed to spend every last minute of his miserably short life proving it to her. Finally. He goes home to tell her she's not there. The butler says she's on a carriage ride with Edwina and Mr. Bagwell, her suitor, and he can't wait for them to return, so he sets out on horseback to find them himself. The butler, he's like, okay, cool, I'll go get a mount for you. And he's like walking away. He's like really slow, and he's like, I'll go do it myself. So he goes and gets his own horse ready.
He's so mean.
Yeah. He's galloping through the park looking for them when Lady Danbury stops him. And she's like, hey, where's your wife? And he's like, I don't know. I'm looking for her. And she's like, I like her. And he's like, okay, me too. and she's like, you were stupid to court Edwina. I always knew you were in a match. Everyone should listen to me. I could have everyone married off in a week. I know what's going on here. And then she spots a carriage out of control on two wheels. A dog barks. Anthony realizes it's Kate's carriage, and it crashes onto a rock. And he thinks he just witnessed his wife die.
Insane. This is insanity. Like, what is happening?
I can't wait to read the next two books.
This feels like a fucking like a Wattpad. Like what Wattpad? What is that called? Where people like write their fantasies on like a blog.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
That's literally what this is.
Oh my
like.
gosh.
Like basically, like this is what this fucking sounds like.
It is.
It's like, oh, my man won't love me, so I get into a car accident and then he loves me. It's like, what? Okay. Chapter 22. As Anthony nears the accident, Edwina pulls herself free from the wrecked carriage. Newton is out too, and Edwina tells Anthony. Yeah, thank God.
Don't kill the dog.
I can't even watch movies where dogs die.
I have to, if I see a dog in a movie, I stop everything what I'm doing, go to doesthedogdie.com and look up to see if the dog dies.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What's that one movie with Will Smith where the dog dies? It's like zombies.
Hi, Zombie. No. No, that's a really cool TV show on Netflix. What is that called?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've read the book even.
That I couldn't watch the rest of it.
No, it was.
I couldn't watch it.
I couldn't watch it again. I watched it and I was like, that was fucking sad. Never watched it again.
No,
couldn't.
Kids or dogs, I can't do it. Newton is out too, and Edwina tells Anthony that Mr. Bagwell hit his head, but he should be all right. Edwina thinks what?
Well, say that again. I was thinking about iZombie.
Newton is out too, and Edwina tells Anthony that Mr. Bagwell hit his head, but he should be all right.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be fine. He's just a little head injury.
Not to mention though that like head injuries are like
so serious,
super serious. But it's fine.
Probably fine.
He'll be fine. He'll just need he'll just need like a little tea or something.
It's so funny.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He just needs to like walk it off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like it just happened, but
walk it off.
I'm sure.
You're fine. Your brain's swelling. Walk it off. Edwina thinks Kate is trapped underneath the carriage. As Anthony tries to remove Kate from the wreck, he pleads with her to be all right. He says, and quote, "This wasn't supposed to be you. It was never supposed to be you. It isn't your time." He finds her hand and feels for a pulse. She is alive. Anthony tries to move the last bit of the debris, but it will not budge. He cries. He's literally crying, which is super cute, by the way. Like real men cry. Okay. And as he pulls with all his might on the broken wood, Kate regains consciousness. Anthony tells her he loves her, and Kate says he has bloody good timing. That's in quotes, which is a very like Brit thing to say. Yeah. Bloody good timing. Very
Kate
good.
said that?
Yeah.
I don't understand how she's trapped under the carriage. Like I can't picture it.
Me either. But she just had to be in the most like compromising position. Right. Because she's the main woman.
Right, okay.
She says she will tell him she loves him too as soon as he gets her out of the wrecked carriage. Anthony does his best to help her out without hurting her. She screams because like the way that he's like pulling her out.
He's like, okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Like her leg is like trapped. Like I think her leg's broken, and he saw that, and so he's like trying to get her out, and like her leg's trapped. I don't know if he knows her leg's broken, and he's trying to pull her out. So he pulls her out, and it hurts, and so she screams. Obviously, when he pulls her, she's free, and he looks at Kate's leg, and it's really, really badly broken. Like Edwina's like, don't
panic, don't look.
So it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it sounded bad.
It's like really bad. Anthony tells Kate not to look, but she looks anyway, and then she faints, which is so fair.
I would have fainted.
Same. Anthony calls for 3 physicians to tend to Kate's injuries, and once her leg is set and dressed in splints, she is put on bed rest for at least a month.
And he didn't need 3 surgeons.
No, because he was thinking about it when he saw her broken leg that some people lose their legs to bad physicians at the time.
He needed 3 opinions right now.
He wanted to make sure that she got the best of the best, and that
it was fun. That was not fun. It was cute.
It was very sweet. Yeah. Anthony tells Kate that when his father died, he spent the night waiting for Edmund to wake up. But by the morning, when he was still dead, Anthony was sure. Sorry, that wasn't meant.
No.
Anthony was sure that he would die young too.
Yes, basically.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's good.
I'm a little drunk.
It's all good.
Anthony is relieved when Kate says she understands. But then she tells Anthony that it is not silly to be afraid, but he should not let the fear rule him. You have to live each hour as if it is your last, and each day as if you were immortal.
Yeah.
Cersei would agree, I think. Anthony tells Kate that when he thought she died in the carriage accident, he thought there was nothing left for him to live for.
Aww.
Anthony lays down beside her on the bed and tells her he loves her, and Kate is sure that they will grow old together. Okay, first epilogue. This is fun. Lady Whistledown reports on the celebration of Anthony's 39th birthday. Anthony jokes that Lady Whistledown must have a spy in their family because she reported that on the birthday, like she reported a bunch of stuff on that like no one should know. He had a very intimate birthday.
Right.
And
she wasn't even invited, she said.
She wasn't invited. I can't remember exactly what happened, but something happened during the birthday and like no one should know about that. Except for them,
like the pianos and the trumpets.
Oh yeah,
they're just playing instruments.
Yeah, that. What did Kate play? Did she play the trumpet? Was that what that was?
I don't remember.
The flute. She played the flute,
and
he played the piano, and that they were like really bad. Their son was like, "Please shut the fuck up," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's like, she must have a spy. He disagrees with her report on their dismal concert, but Kate says that they were always dreadful musicians. Anthony reflects on his birthday. He spent most of the afternoon in his study talking to his father's portrait, which he did take up, I think, before that, or maybe just that day, where he just was basically
like just talking to him.
Is that what you mean? Yeah, to his father, to Edmund's portrait. He basically was like, "I love you. This is my wife is really good. My son's good. I'm 39.
Beat you
exactly at one thing." Sorry, that movie is not like a good thing. Oh God. He told Edmund Image about his 3 children, about how Violet is doing, and about how much he loves Kate. Anthony realizes his life now is what his father always wanted for him. At midnight, Kate and Anthony retire to the bed, and they probably fuck. I don't know.
Probably.
Kate asks if Anthony saw what Whistledown wrote about Colin, and she suspects that the writer has feelings for him. Anthony replies that he does not wish to discuss Whistledown when he has much better things to do, wink, wink, and he kisses Kate. In a small but elegant house nearby the Bridgerton's residence, Lady Whistledown begins drafting her next issue.
I love how she puts this focus on like, ooh, who is it? Who's Whistledown? When it's like not that exciting.
They've done it for both books.
Yeah.
And I think it's not exciting for us because we already know.
Yeah. Also, but like, Pretty Little Liars. Like, who is A? Like, that was like something that you kept reading for. You don't keep reading for the
But I feel like it's because we already know.
I don't think I would care.
Yeah, maybe.
That much.
Maybe. I don't know. I would have to like, I feel like it's so hard to be able to gauge that because like
we already know.
Because we already know. Like I would have to know if what I would feel if I was reading this. Because honestly, I do feel like I would be interested. Like, who the fuck is this? Like that knows everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be like curious, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way to find out.
Yeah, it wasn't like the center of this book. It didn't make a difference to the people's storylines, and I will agree with you on that point. Like where it is like in Pretty Little Liars, like knowing who A was the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
knowing kind of.
Well, that's like Eloise was treating it in the show. She's like, "Who is this woman?"
Yeah, but that's
just
also
not that big of a deal.
But that's how I kind of felt in Gossip Girl. Like at the end of the day, like there were times when they cared about who Gossip Girl was, but like for the most part, it didn't actually affect what they did in their day-to-day lives.
Right. Yeah, true.
They were just being reported on.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pretty Little Liars.
Whereas like Pretty Little Liars, yeah, A was like literally wasn't like A like, was, like fucking their lives. Yeah.
Fucking their lives.
Literally fucking them up hardcore. Well, except for what was her name? Was it Aria or whatever? Not Aria. The one that was like with the teacher.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
What's her name?
I don't know. Could have been Aria.
I honestly didn't even watch the series, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just know that there was one girl who literally married her teacher.
Did they get married? I thought he ended up being like a crazy motherfucker.
No, I think she did end up marrying him. I've seen TikToks. TikTok is the most.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched a lot of that show and I don't remember much. So
I don't know. I haven't. I don't even take my word for it because I haven't even watched a second of it. But anyways, the second epilogue.
Okay.
Which this felt kind of like a waste of my time.
I was like skipping through it. I did not read the whole thing.
So like, let's just make it okay. So basically every single year they have an annual Pall Mall game because that's where Anthony and Kate fell in love, was their original Pall Mall game when she took the Mallet of Death. And every single year Edwina, Simon, Daphne, Colin return to play this same like traditional game of Pall Mall. But in the weeks leading up, Anthony and Kate have their own separate little game to try and secure the black mallet, the Mallet of Death. And Colin ends up getting it, and then they have a game of Pall Mall. Kate like tries to make a puddle out of an area where Anthony always puts one of the wickets. She ends up like reverse fucking her in the ass.
It's so stupid.
And she ends up like in last place, but then she like when Anthony's about to win the game, she basically is like, fuck my game, I'm not gonna win anyway, and then tries to sabotage his game. And then like, I don't know, they realize that they love each other because Anthony is like, that's where I fell in love with her, I think, was when we first played that game of Pall Mall.
And this is 15 years of marriage.
15 years, yeah.
I like that Colin came in and stole the mallet. That was really funny.
Yeah. And he also brought Penelope, which is his wife.
Oh, yeah.
We get a little like snippet of that.
She was just like watching.
And
they wouldn't let her play.
No. It's only the thing is like Edwina doesn't even care. So Edwina and Penelope end up kind of becoming a little bit of a team, because I don't know why. But Edwina doesn't like the game. She doesn't care for it, but she always comes back because like, why the fuck not? I guess.
I don't know.
She does end up, and Edwina does end up marrying Mr. Bagwell.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's happy. We've not heard one single thing about Mr. Bagwell.
Poor Edwina.
What I didn't like about this is kind of how rude Anthony was to Penelope. Yeah. And Edwina.
Yeah. I don't.
During this game, he was just kind of like super fucking rude.
Yeah. Well, she was like, she couldn't cheer on Colin, but she was cheering on somebody else, and Anthony's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shut up. Yeah. And she's like, you didn't say I couldn't cheer them on.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, things. You brought your wife? Great. Like, he just is like super rude. I don't know. It was interesting. It just basically was showing that like even 15 years later that they're still in love. That's kind of how it seemed to me. Yeah. But I felt like Daphne.
Long.
It was very long. It was 45 minutes in my little in my audiobook.
Oh my god.
Which is longer than any like specific chapter. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's Pall Mall.
It's Pall Mall, obviously. Listen, I'm competitive, and like I understand that competitive nature at heart. Like, you know this. But it just didn't give anything to the story. I felt like Simon and Daphne's like gave something.
Mm-hmm.
This gave nothing for me.
Yeah, it was just silly, and just like the mallet of death came back, and it was just kind of silly and fun.
I guess it just was like depth. Showing that they were still in a really good spot.
Yeah. Still alive.
It just gave nothing. It gave me nothing.
Yeah, it was. I was like skipping through it. I'm like, okay, Pall Mall. Okay, nothing. All right, that's it.
But this, I'll be honest, like if I didn't know who Lady Whistledown was, this had to have been where I maybe would have guessed that it was Penelope, because 2 stories thus far, 2 second epilogues have detailed Colin and Penelope's relationship.
That's true, yeah. She's peppered in everywhere.
Everywhere. So I feel like that had to have been some sort of clue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why this is the specific instance that they decided to show.
I don't know. So at the birthday party, that he was turning 39, so that's basically like 10 years after they got married. And Kate was like, I think the Lady Whistledown likes Colin. Were they not together by then?
Okay, so I was wondering that too. They had to have been.
They have to be.
I wonder. My question was: did the family ever figure out who Lady Whistledown was, and did Penelope ever stop publishing? Those were 2 questions that I had. Like 15 years later, 20 years later, whatever.
She's still writing.
Was she still detailing? So obviously she was 10 years later.
That's funny. I don't know.
So I am curious.
We'll find out in 2 books.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I want to read the author's note, which was peppered in between the epilogue and the second epilogue. Anthony's reaction to his father's untimely death is a very common one, especially among men. To a much lesser degree, women whose mothers die young react in a similar fashion. Men whose fathers die at a very young age are very often gripped by a certainty that they too will suffer the same fate. Such men usually know their fears are irrational, but it is nearly impossible to get past these fears until one has reached and passed the age of one's father's death. Since my readers are almost exclusively women and Anthony's issue is such, to use a very modern phrase, a guy thing, I worry that you might not be able to relate to his problem. As a writer of romance, I constantly find myself walking a fine line between making my heroes utterly and completely heroic and making them real. I don't think she walks a line.
Line?
I don't think there's really a line.
What line? Because does she have a fucking male character that's heroic?
They say heroic things sometimes, but then I think it's definitely overshadowed by. I mean, that quote that Anthony had about listen, you're beautiful,
yeah. So that
was good, but everything else he does is kind of shitty.
100%.
So it's not really a line.
1000%.
Anyways,
actually.
With Anthony, I hope I struck a balance. It's easy to scowl at a book and grumble, get over it already. But the truth is, for most men, it's not so easy to get over the sudden and premature loss of a beloved father. So I thought that was interesting because I really didn't know that was a thing. And I did shit a lot on Anthony in the first half of this for that.
So that's actually, and I was the opposite. That was not a reason that I hated, that I wouldn't say that I hated Anthony, that I disliked or had the ick for Anthony. I wasn't sitting there saying get over it, get over it, get over it. Because I don't know. I respect it. You never know. There's so many weird mental phenomenons. Not weird, but
I get it.
Odd. I don't know. Different or unusual mental phenomenons that happen when traumatic things occur.
Oh,
so who am I to sit there and say that's unacceptable? But I will say that wasn't the reason that he was giving me the ick.
No, yeah, I
90% of the book.
Yeah, I just wanted to read that because I didn't know that, and it does make sense, and it's just interesting. And I didn't hate him for it, but I just didn't understand it. That's why.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then another thing about the bees. Sharp-eyed readers will note that the bee sting that killed Edmund Bridgerton was actually the second bee sting he'd received in his life. So I guess you're a sharp-eyed reader. This is medically accurate. Bee sting allergies generally don't manifest themselves until the second sting. And since Anthony had only been stung once in his life, it's impossible to know whether or not he's allergic. As the author of this book, however, I'd like to think that I have a certain creative control over the medical conditions of my characters. So I've decided that Anthony has no allergies of any kind and furthermore will live to the ripe old age of 92.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that author's note. I usually skip that shit, but that was good.
Yeah, I like that note for sure.
92 is crazy for 1812s.
Yeah,
the early 1800s.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, honestly, I'm gonna be happy if he lives to his 60s or 70s.
Right? Yeah.
Just 92 is wild. That's wild to live to now.
Right. That's hilarious.
That's an insane age to live to literally right now.
Oh gosh, these books.
See, this is where I'm like, she toes the line between fantasy and like realism. I feel like in this, because it's like 92 is crazy. Like, what fucking man is living to 92 in 1814?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why couldn't you have made the men just have a little bit more integrity and compassion when you literally have them living to 92 years old? I don't get it.
There's a lot that I don't get about these books so far.
No. I did like it. It was an enjoyable read. I actually liked it a lot. I couldn't put it down. I'll say that.
Okay. Do you have a quote of the week?
Yeah, well, obviously, the quote is obviously, I desire you, I burn for you, I can't sleep at night for wanting you. Even when I didn't like you, I lusted for you. Like, obviously.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mine was, I think the human heart must be stronger than we could ever imagine. And I think that was in chapter 22. I don't remember what they were talking about, but I was like,
mm-hmm.
It is. Feel that. I can't relate, but I can, in the barest of moments, it must be stronger than we can ever know.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how people get through some of their tragedies.
I agree.
Who would you be?
I would be Kate. And here's the reason I say that.
Okay, that's good.
Because I was thinking about this, and it's not because of Anthony actually at all.
Okay.
It's literally because of her competitive nature.
Okay. Yeah, she's super competitive.
And also just like she just has like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. One, her delusion is of grandeur. No, I'm joking. But also she very much just doesn't give up on the things that she wants. I think her going out of her way to go find Anthony, and then like, you know, it's those moments that I'm just like, she doesn't give up on the things that she wants and that she loves. And like her just falling in love with Anthony, like I just feel like that would 100% be me in that situation. I think like she's very relatable in this half of the book.
I love sense? Kate. Yeah, I do like Kate. I picked the old butler who couldn't get Anthony's horse fast enough.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. But I think Edwina is a good choice.
Edwina is
she was happy for Kate. She got her man in the end.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say that would be who I would actually be. I think she's a great character and I love her to death.
Maybe.
I don't see myself being
I'm not
some
like the
hot fucking woman.
Yeah, I'm not like the diamond. No, yeah, you're true.
Who marries like the man exactly that she wanted to marry, the scholar.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
I guess that's who maybe I would want to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
I picked Kate.
She did end up living like her perfect like
scenario.
Life. Yeah, for sure.
Everyone gets a happy ending.
I love that though.
Who would you want to be?
I would. I literally just had it in my head too.
Oh no.
I would want to be probably Edwina. I'm gonna say Edwina.
Yeah, okay. I'm hoping Mr. Bagwell is like a lot nicer than Anthony. We'll never know.
He seems like he is, except he can't drive a carriage. But oh no, you know what? I want to be Newton. I want to be Newton.
The dog.
I want to be the dog.
Aw.
He's got everything.
He's got a good life. And he's got Kate.
Yeah.
Right? Kate fucking loves him.
And he sleeps like 90% of the time.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that's a good dog.
I'll never not want to be a dog.
Facts.
What's your favorite character in the whole
book?
Who
do you want to be?
Oh, Kate. I picked Kate because I love her. I love how like everything that you just said about her.
Yeah.
She how fast she overcame her demons is very admirable. I wish I could aspire to that.
Yeah. I don't think I envy like the situation that she witnessed as a child, because I don't think anyone's ever witnessed something like that ever in the history of the world. But I don't envy that at all.
But yeah, I just love her growth.
Agreed.
Okay. Favorite character? Did I just ask that?
You know what? I'm gonna say it, and I don't I hate it, but I don't hate it. I'm gonna actually say Portia.
Oh,
she's kind of an icon.
That's a good one.
She's literally an icon.
That's a good one.
I'm kind of obsessed with her.
She's a fun character. I picked Kate. Pretty boring.
No, that's fair.
No, I do love her though. Fair. I just she didn't do anything wrong. I loved her.
No, she didn't do anything wrong.
What?
I guess Portia did do some stuff wrong. But she's just iconic.
It doesn't lessen the favoriteness of it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
I love to hate her, but I hate to love her. I love it.
That's the perfect character.
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite character?
Oh, this is gonna be controversial, but I honestly there weren't a ton of unlikable characters.
That's what I said too. Or was thinking.
So I don't want to say that my least favorite character is someone that I hated. But if I had to be objective, Antony's not my top.
He's bottom 3 of all the men that we've read.
Yeah.
About. I picked nobody, but I mean I couldn't think of one. I couldn't justify Anthony at the time yesterday, but I mean definitely he has some not great moments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no one that's low. There's not anyone that's sucks. I wouldn't say I hate Anthony. I like Anthony, but if I had to pick the worst out of the characters that were presented, I would say Anthony. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you rate it? 1 to 5 stars?
Oh, probably 3.6.
3.6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There wasn't any moments where I was okay, I can't say there was any moments that were there were a couple moments where I was I feel icky, but it wasn't oh my God, this is statutory.
It was no
statutory.
Daphne and Simon.
Yeah.
It wasn't even statutory. That was just straight up.
Well, I think that's
statutory is if you're 18 and you have sex with a 16-year-old.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, it's consensual, but it's still illegal.
I guess I don't know what statutory means.
I guess that's what it is.
I'm sorry, viewers. So yeah, it wasn't it just made me feel icky. We talked about it, but Anthony on the wedding night just felt icky. Anthony the 2 days before. Yeah. Yeah. But not even the tickling. It was more so the, she just
she
can we wait
time.
A week? Yeah.
And he's like,
no.
Yeah.
Anthony 2 days before their wedding, being I can't give you love, but let me see your titties. Just felt, just didn't love that.
It's annoying and it's confusing and I don't understand it and I can't relate to it. I gave it a 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's written well. It's easy to understand. I don't relate to the time period. I can't relate to any of the characters.
Yeah.
I give it a 3.
I agree. That's fair.
Yeah. Did you want to talk a little bit about the differences between the show real quick or should we?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The show is so different from the books. I mean, there's not even really anything that's similar. I mean, they do have the B scene, a similar B scene in the show, but they weren't caught and Anthony didn't suck on her negligee. On her negligee. So that didn't happen. They weren't forced into a marriage. Edwina was they got to the point where Edwina and Anthony were engaged and even had, got to the point where they were at their wedding day.
Yeah, that was the biggest
Queen
one.
Was involved. I mean, it really was
was involved.
The Queen was involved randomly and there was such a difference.
Yeah, that one that is the big one because in the show Edwina is she likes Anthony and they get engaged and she's excited about it and I didn't see the part where up until when they're getting married. I didn't see that, but in the book it was Edwina never really cared about Anthony.
And Edwina didn't give a shit about Anthony.
Even when Kate was questioning her, she's the conversation was fine. I don't even remember it. It's whatever. Stop.
Yeah, and in the show Edwina was kind of head over heels, which made it I kind of hated that.
Yeah.
Because it made it seem what Kate was doing was really icky.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And I don't like that at all.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that the changes to Anthony's character I really liked because Anthony was in the show was a lot less cold.
He was nicer.
Mm-hmm. I love Show Anthony. I would die for Show Anthony.
Oh.
I think he is the hottest, most iconic, like, thing I've seen on a TV show. He is fucking intense and insane, and I'm obsessed. Book Anthony, I don't think I would do the same thing.
No, it's. I don't know. I guess it does give credit to the showmakers. They made him a lot better.
Yeah, that's not to say though that I think that the differences that they made in the show, I can't justify the differences that they made in the show the same way that I can justify them in season 1. It was so different from the books that it almost made me angry. When I went back and watched after reading, I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't even Bridgerton. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid. Like, I get that maybe they didn't want like a repeat situation of like Daphne and Simon.
Yeah. Do something. Wait, so how did, never mind. They just realize that they love each other and
they get together.
Right.
Yeah. After I think Kate like falls off a horse. She falls off a horse and hits her head.
So there's no carriage scene?
There's no carriage scene.
Bummer. Wait, what about her mother dying?
And there's no thunderstorms explanation.
I don't know why they didn't put that in.
It's so stupid. Like, what's the reason? Seriously, it irritates the shit out of me. Like, what the fuck?
She is afraid of thunderstorms in the show?
Like
briefly.
Kind of.
They never address it.
They don't ever address it. It's very brief. Like, it's so stupid. And like, again, I love the way that they show Lady Danbury. Like, that can be all day long. You know, I like some of the characters. I mean, they even addressed like Eloise finding out that that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, which is fucking stupid to me and I'll tell you why. Because again, the personality differences between Eloise in the book and the show. Eloise in the book is very empathetic. She's kind. She's able to see people. Like, she's very intuitive. Mm-hmm. Eloise in the books or in the show is very self-centered and like just very focused on what she's doing and what she's doing only. When she realizes Penelope is Lady Whistledown, she like is such a bitch to her.
Why?
Dude,
that's interesting.
Fuck that. I don't know. It was annoying. And they like have a big blowout fight. And they have basically like at this point a falling out.
No.
And it's super annoying. And it's just not the way that book Eloise, in my opinion, would handle that.
No. She'd be like, hell yeah, sister.
That's incredible. You're like, do you?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, I just don't get some of the changes.
Yeah.
I think it just is frustrating. Like, why are you making a series? I'm going to say this the whole time we're reading this. I just don't get making a series and making it so fucking stark different and then calling it the same thing. If you want like inspiration of like,
inspired by Bridgerton.
Exactly. Then sure. But like, this isn't Bridgerton. This isn't the Duke and I. This isn't the Viscount Who Loved Me. This isn't that. Like, it's not. It's just not at this point. Like, they've veered so fucking far off course. It's disgusting. For what reason?
That's funny.
I'm like,
I'm not too bothered by it.
I'm super bothered by it. Because how funny would the scene with Newton like running and you know, pushing Edwina in the fucking into the
serpentine?
River, into the serpentine. That would have been fucking hilarious.
So what happened? Oh, nothing like that happened.
Yeah. Or like the carriage scene. That would have been iconic. Or like her mother dying.
I don't know why they took that out, actually.
Why
you need to figure out a way to put that in there in the next season.
That's literally like a fucking phenomenon that no one has ever experienced. And it's not relatable. And it would have been iconic to see on a TV screen.
Oh my
Why
gosh.
would you cut that? It makes no sense.
I bet they filmed it and they're like, we can't air this.
We cannot air this.
We have to cut this.
I don't know.
This did not work.
It doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. It's so frustrating. It really is frustrating because I feel like it is now. I don't think it did in the first one, but I do feel like in the second season it did kind of take away the spirit of the book a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. It's super different.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that might be controversial, but it's my full blown opinion.
Oh my gosh. If that doesn't sit well with you, write in.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
Call me a bitch.
On TikTok. We love it.
On our reviews. But give us 5 stars.
Yes, it has to be 5 stars.
5 stars.
Totally
but
fine.
you have full permission to call me a bitch.
Okay, awesome. Next week, we're reading, it's called An Offer from a Gentleman, which is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series.
And it's Benedict's.
Oh, is it?
And I'm so fucking excited.
Yay! Oh my gosh.
The next 2, I honestly cannot even express my excitement because it's Benedict and then it's Colin, and they're my favorite. Them. So far, what we've seen, I'm obsessed with both of them.
I hope the banter and everything. I hope it, what if they suck?
I'll cry.
Well, anyways, we're reading through chapter 13 next week. So we'll see you there. Thank you guys so much for listening.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
That was so perfect.
Thank you.
Fanfic. What did we say earlier about Anthony? Oh, him in medical school. I think that'd be really funny. Just getting like everything wrong.
Oh, Lady Whistledown as a reporter, but like a journalistic detective reporter. What's that called?
Oh,
like solving a murder.
Oh, and
investigative journalist.
Investigative journalist. That would be wonderful. What if she goes to America and journalizes?
No, there's
war?
A war.
Yeah, she'll like cover it.
There's a war.
That'd be too. I don't want to read about that.
I don't want to know about the war.
I don't. Let's get that out.
I just want to know. Maybe when was Jack the Ripper around?
Oh, I think it was later, like in the 1860s.
Ah, damn it.
I think I did look that up because that would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
Let me look it up again.
Maybe not cool is the right word.
When
but
did Jack the Ripper
to read about?
Die.
When did Jack the Ripper murder? Because he was never caught.
I know. 1888, around there.
That's when he died?
Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer active in and around London in 1888. So that's when he was active.
Okay, so it was way too
I know.
late.
Nobody knows when he died because they don't know who he is. But that was the first like suggestion on Google, so I just said it.
There's actually a theory going around on TikTok that it was a painter.
There's a lot of theories, and they like all could fit. They all fit good.
All right. I love you guys. We love you guys. I'll talk to you later. We burn for all of you.
Bye. See you next week. Bridgerton, part 3.